Good morning. How's everyone doing today? So I have my coffee and I have a chocolate croissant. And it's delicious on both ends. So let me fix this. Oh, baby. We're streaming from the kitchen. We're in the kitchen today. My lovely backdrop for kitchen sports ball. We got basketball. My lovely adult um, top 100 board game scratchy, because everyone needs one of those. And I got Gutenberg laid out here before me. But before we do that, um, before we go into Gutenberg, so I'm thinking today, so I have to film a bunch of content, overviews, just like firsthand looks at this game, and I finally got a couple reps underneath my belt, and let's just say I was not disappointed. Um, but I think I'm going to go through the process of how I film this, the thoughts that go into like what I'm going to say when I present this game, and kind of give you my feedback on it because I don't see a ton of it online. So when I was learning how to play, there's a couple people that have overviews, um, and I was looking for a little bit, looking for some more, you know, content to watch on it. So I'm kind of excited to like put some stuff out there and really give it my Danielle touch. But before I go into that and go into the process of that, a couple of small announcements. But first, I'm gonna enjoy this coffee too. Um, oh, and I do have a package to open from the one and only Eagle. So I still have one more package after this. Um, we have Gutenberg was the first one. Then we had 51st State. What else did we go through? Oh, all the goodies. Still working through those goodies. They're delicious. Not the chocolate croissant. That was on my own fruition. But man, I'm gonna need some more goodies from him. But we do have one more, and he said I can give this away. So we'll see. So let's bust this bad boy out. And it's really jammed in there. Oh, it's labeled 5. Good morning, Ruby. How are you? Oh, good. I'm fixed. I fixed what? I had a problem. I have a lot of problems, so I guess that statement could be in regards to really anything at this point. Um, it's really in there. I'm curious what this is because he was like, "Give it away to fans." I'm like, "What's the next top 100 you're scratching off?" I don't know. So when we got the top 100 scratchy off, there was a lot of games on there that we had already played. But the goal of the scratch off was to replay them. So we wanted to see how many we could get through having played it since we got it. So I think brass. I've really been itching to play brass again. That might be on the top 100. Oh yeah, it's in it's in the top 10. I feel like we've played a couple other recently too. Here, I can just take it down and show like my real wall art. Um, let me see. Robinson was actually the first one we crossed off on this when we got it. We got this last January. I think Robinson was the first one that we had crossed off. Great Western Trail needs to be on here too because I think we've played it. Five Tribes. Yes, there's a lot, but there's also someone here that I think we would never play. Like I don't think we would ever get to. Brasses. One of my favorites. It's dry as all hell, but it is very satisfying. And I think it's very satisfying for a lot of the reasons I'm going to talk about with Gutenberg too. But I think on here, like, I don't know if I'm ever going to play Twilight Struggle. I don't see myself doing that. Why are the letters reversed on it? I'm really, I have some PTSD after my first stream, okay? Thanks. Um, but there's other things like Kingdom Death Monster. I don't know if I'm ever going to play that game. Although someone did offer to send me their copy just so I can play it and talk about it. So we'll see. I'll never say no to anything, I guess. Oh, I can cross off Netrunner. I played that recently. I learned that at PAX Unplugged. That was really fun. But yeah, we're working through this. I thought we would get through it much quicker, but we haven't. I'm a little ashamed, but that's fine. So maybe next week I'll pop in and give everyone an update on our beautiful crooked wall art now. All right, so back to this tube. Back to this tube of glory. How many are in here? Oh my god. All right, got them all. All right, he said I can give these bad boys away, so let's see how it goes. Oh, oh, I'm not gonna want to give them away. They're pretty cool looking. All right, so first one, I need to stand up for this. Can you actually see it? Stronghold. Oh, they're signed. I feel like I'm in the presence of greatness right now with all these signed goodies. All right, so this is the first one. I know, it's rough to see. We're getting there. We're trying. All right, so first one, Stronghold. Signed, guys. Let's see, number 2. Ugh. I'm not gonna want to give these away. A Nurishima poster. This thing is pretty badass. All right, hold on. Do one of these. Look it. Yeah. 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 I like the colors. It would go really well in my living room. Get it framed, put it up there. It'd look fantastic. Yeah. All right. Just kidding. I'll spread the wealth. This one though. Ooh, I want it. Well, tell me which one you guys like, and I think that's where I'll go for everyone that likes to join this live. I'll celebrate and I'll send these out. So let me know which one you like. I'm trying my best to show them off. All right, this one. I love this man's mustache. All right, Imperial Settlers. Look at him in all of his glory. Look at that dog. It's a thing of beauty. All right, last one. Last but not least. I need to lay these out. Get them unfurled. Robinson. All right. That one's majestic. Looks like a movie poster. That looks fantastic. I like the colors. I just got really high pitched. I'm sorry to anyone who's listening. I sounded really, really excited. All right, so I got some posters. If you guys, if your heart speaks to any of these, let me know. Throw it in the comment. I'll send a ping afterwards. I'd love to give these away. I would love to have 4 Portal Games posters in my house, but my house is small and I'm working with very minimal wall space behind me. The Stronghold one is super badass looking. Let's open that one back up again. I feel like I didn't give it enough justice. Oh, nope. That's the Mission X. Yeah, this one looks super cool. Try and get it away from the light. Away from the light. Yup. That would look nice anyway. Get it framed. Nice black frame. All about it. Beautiful. Well, let me know which one you guys like. I'll send you a message after. All right, next up on the docket, coffee. I still haven't eaten my chocolate croissant and I'm probably not going to eat it because I can't shut my mouth enough. Stop talking to eat it. Dig the Robinson one too. That would also look good in my living room. It's nice and bright and yellow in there, so the blue would complement it nicely. I also have a bunch of posters from parks that I've been looking to get framed. We have like a backlog of posters and like we don't want to just hang them on the wall. We want to do something nice with it. Despite what this looks like over here, we actually like to do something nice with our art. Don't take that for example for what the rest of the house looks like. But we do have a bunch of parks posters that we want to get framed. But I really think that Robinson one would look mint, would look fine. One thing I am struggling right now is the fact that I can't touch my phone because it's so far away and look at the comments, but so bear with me there. All right, next up, let's do some announcements. Batman, Everybody Lies. The pre-order is now open. Get to it. I know I talked about it a lot, not last week, but the previous week about how excited I am for that game. So go check it out. Pre-order is up. 51st date. 2 days left. 2 days left on the game bound. I've also been learning a lot about the euro to US dollar conversion based on what is there on the game bound. So right now, 51st date with 2 days left. is at $407,000 raised for it. And I was like, wow, damn, that's doing really good. Remember that Tuesday is like, yes, Tuesday is the last day. 2 days left. Ruby, you know what? I should just leave it up to you going forward for Game Found updates because you're always on top of it. And it's funny because I my notes here, this notebook I live off of, I actually have your name next to 51st date as an update. And I was just gonna leave it up to you. But I still wrote down the stats just in case you weren't here. So going forward, I'm looking to you. All right. Then Thorgal, and I apologize if I'm saying this incorrectly because this is something that's new to me. It was actually really excited to talk about. So Thorgal, comic book series out of Europe. New board game, co-op adventure game, very story driven. I believe that's coming to Game Found in May as well. 10 scenarios, and I am a huge sucker for adventure co-op. I dig. Sleeping Gods is up there for me. The Lord of the Rings campaign is up there for me. What's nice, it isn't a legacy game either, so you can keep playing it over and over, and they're all standalone scenarios. So I will learn more about that to bring you more information. But yeah, that's coming to Game Found in May as well. So, but what I really want to do here today is talk about Gutenberg because your girl is into it. We got a couple plays under our belt. We played it at 2 and 3 player, and it is fantastic. So my goal for this week for the portal page is to put out an overview. And what I want to do is normally my overviews are like 45 seconds to a minute and a half long. And I feel like this game deserves something a little bit longer, but I don't want a single video to be a super long format. So I don't want it to be, a 4-minute video that you guys are bored to tears by the end of it. And you're like, all right, we're done with this. So I want to break this down over the course of next week, showing you, highlighting to you, kind of like the different aspects of the game. Because I want to say there's a lot to unwrap here, but there really isn't. It's one of those games that seems like it's a lot upfront, but it is so tight with its mechanics, and it is so tight with everything you do, that once you get playing, you're like, it just clicks. So I usually, my husband's the one to learn and teach me a game, which is fantastic. We have a really good like symbiosis with that, where he'll take a rule book, he'll go off and learn, and then we'll get it to the table. And then like I'm a quick learner, so it's a good back and forth. But this time, I learned this, and I was teaching him and our good friend, our third player. And up front, I'm like going through, what's nice is it has a little guide here. I'm going through all the steps you can take, the different phases, the different actions, the spinny wheels. What's nice is I would say this game is language independent. It is language independent. So there's a lot of iconography, which if you've never played the game would look very foreign to you. But after the first round, it just clicks. It definitely just clicks. And everything you do, every action you take, um, it it is with purpose. There's no room for like, maybe I'll take this turn off and get this kind of, subpar action. No action feels subpar. Like they all feel like they're done with purpose. So I guess the goal of my overview, and typically with the content I don't do reviews. So I'm not like, oh, you got to check this game out because I love it. I try and give you reasons why I enjoy it, but without telling you I enjoy it. Well, you and Joanna play 50 First Date, wanting to know. I'm actually going to talk with her this week. Um, I'll put that on the, no, what? My notebook of things. 50 First Date. Joanna. Yeah, baby. All right, on the agenda. So what I want to do is I want to break this down, and here's like my thought process behind like what I want to tell people and how to concisely convey things to people. So I want to break this down into 3 videos. The first one is going to be kind of just like a quick summarization of what the game is, and to kind of draw you into like pique your interest, almost to give you like a 35-second elevator pitch, that will just kind of like, all right, I want to hear more. The second one I'm thinking will be more of the breakdown of the different actions, because the game is really good about laying out individually. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 action. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different things you can do on your turn. So lay out the different things you can do on your turn. That will probably be maybe the third one. probably be the third video. The second one I would do would explain the flow of the game from beginning to end. Maybe do like a breakdown of the phases or, the phases that lead to the goal of the game. So, yeah, I think there would be a good flow of it. So, the first one will probably be the overview, the elevator pitch, the pique your interest. The second one will be the flow of the game, what you're doing, just a general overview from like spinning the coggy wheels to like how do you win. And then the third one will be the breakdown of the different actions you can take because each action, like I said, is done with like meaning. There's like a there's definitely a purpose to each one. We when we played each action, we I feel like we all took every action every turn. Um and I'll get into that as I like explain how I'm gonna like go through the process of this video. All right, so the first one, the elevator pitch, to really pique your interest for this. Um, you can I feel like sometimes I try to explain too much where I get into the history of the theme. Um, and I think it benefits from a more simplified version. So I can say like you're running a printing press in the 1500s. And to some people they'll be like, wow, I want to hear more. But honestly, I'd be like, that doesn't sound all that fun. So I want to put a little pizzazz on it, want to throw a little flair on it, throw like be like you're trying to run like a super efficient printing press. Maybe throw something in there about like Gutenberg and how this game was inspired by him, and his need to like figure out how to produce books quickly or at a quicker pace than how it was in the 15th century. Just kind of give a little bit of taste, a little bit of flavor to it. Another thing I would want to highlight is like some things that in the game stand out to me. So a big deal, what I've noticed with games is people ask me, how does it scale at 2 player? How does it scale at 3? How does it scale at 4? So typically all games I play is at 2 player. And this game has its own side has its own side for 2 player. And then at 3 player, it even sectioned off pieces of the board so you're not playing with everything available to you. So the game scales really well at individual player counts. Um, and that would be something I would highlight, it'd be good for, any size group. It's 1 to 4. 1 to 4? Yeah, because there's a solo mode. Um, and then I'd also like to highlight too that you can ease into the game. So there's different characters you can play. And for your first game, the rulebook recommends just playing without the special character abilities, which is nice because, like I said, this game does seem like a lot up front with the different literal moving pieces. Um, so when you dive into it, having the option to play without the special character abilities is really good to remove the unnecessary like brain like how am I going to do that, what is this like the back of this, like what does that even what does that even mean to someone who hasn't played the game. So it can be kind of overwhelming. So that is also another perk that I think people would really appreciate, that there is a like simpler version before you dive into like the thick of it, and once you play it you're like give me the thick of it, like let's play harder. Like give me all of the character abilities. So that is something that I would probably highlight in like the intro, the overview video, and I'm gonna write that down because I'm going to probably highlight that. All right, scale up mechanic. This notebook has every overview I've ever written in it. I take notes on the games as I play them, and I highlight the things that I really want to say so I remember them when I go to film it. So when it comes time to make a video, like this one here, has everything I want to say on, what is this one? Botanic. Everything I want to say on the game. I wrote this one on a plane. So that's that. Now, to get into the thick of how the game works, it is an auctioning game. Let me move my croissant that I'm not going to eat yet. So, how the different actions get taken. You are presented with black cubes, and you can use them behind the screen, which is nice because you don't know what other people are going to do. You can use them behind the screen to decide which action you want to take. So these are the 5 different actions. And depending on who is considered first player, you're given X amount of cubes. So I think it's, yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you're first player, you're only getting 7 cubes. However, um, you would break ties and all that good stuff. There's some other benefits to being first player. But if you're last place, you're gonna get more cubes. And how the cubes work is the more you have in each action row is the turn order in which you would go for that action. So let's say this first action is taking, technical name for this, you take one of the take orders. That's the first one. Take orders. So you get order cards that you need to fulfill to get points. Um, so in order to take orders, you need to allocate cubes in this top row, and depending on how many you have is the order in which you would go in. If there's a tie, the player that is higher up in the turn order would go first. Um, but that is how you decide to take action. So what I was saying before is like there was in the games that we played, we all wanted to take every action because every action felt good to take. Like the game is so tight in a sense that like when you do the action, you're like, this is for a reason. And even if you are low on the turn order, because there's always going to be something available to you, it's still, you can kind of plan, like backup plan for getting like the worst case scenario, which is feels good. So I had said in like a post I made about this game that the game is just very satisfying, and it is in that sense that no matter what happens based off your choice, it feels good. Now, if you really want to be like first on the turn order or first to pick in an action, you can allocate up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cubes to make sure that you are going first. If you really want a card, if you really want one of these cool cog wheels, which has a bunch of actions on them, you can put as many cubes in there as you want. Um, and I like this mechanic because it is a level playing field. Your auction isn't based off the amount of money you have. I know in a game like Five Tribes where you auction off your, not auction off, you bid your money in order to get higher up in the turn order. With this, it is just these cubes, and you pass these cubes around depending on where you are in the turn order, and it's kind of a level playing field. And I feel like in games like Five Tribes, where if you're bidding a lot of money, you're earning a lot of money. If you're bidding not a lot of money, you're probably not taking in, and you kind of fall behind in that sense. I didn't feel that way at any point in this, which again hits the satisfying button. Now, so that'd be something I would highlight probably in like the overview, the turn order, just like how you are able to take your actions. Um, and then I'd probably also go into how these work because these they're super appealing with the cogs. Um, and these are extra actions you get to take. So the main game, the bread and butter, are there 5 main. You take a turn order card, not turn order, take orders. You can get ink from the pouch, and these are all laid out. You buy them in sets of 1, 2, or 3, however you want, depending on how much money you have, depending on how much ink you want. Um, then there's also specialties. I will get into that because that really hit the spot. As someone who plays a lot of like RPGs and love talent trees, um, I found the specialty board to be incredibly fun to build. Um, Then you do the improved printing house, which are these cogs, which I'll kind of explain here. And then what's the last one? Patronage. And that's kind of where you can devout or show where you're devout in some areas. And that goes back to like the specialty boards and like how much ink you have or how, what are these called? A type. So, and it depends on how many types you have. And which is cool is you never use these, like you never consume these. When you have a type, you keep them. So if you have an A, and there's only 4 of them, so once you have it, it's in your printing press. You can use it going forward. You can use it as in as many orders as you want. Um, it, I found that really cool. When we were going through it, I was like, oh man, I don't want to use my A because I want to use it on this other order. Guess what? You can use it on the other order too. The only thing that gets consumed is the inks, which just improves your orders. All right. So the other thing I would probably want to highlight as like something to like really showcase the game itself. Not only we get the 5 actions, the improved printing house. These allow you to take extra actions on your turn that would not be generated from here. Um, for example, on here, like you can exchange an ink for an ink. So in the case that you have a bunch of inks that you don't really need, or you have orders that they're not going to be fulfilled with like a bunch of blue inks, but you do have some for green, if you were to have this cog, you can exchange a blue for a green, which would then be useful for you. This also helps you level up your specialties. which feel really good. And this allows you to change your types. So let's say in the beginning, you had a bunch of orders that you needed an A or you needed an I, and you don't consume these types. This cog would allow you, which you can use once per turn, and depending on where it is in your printing house, it will open up that action available to you. You'd be like, all right, I had a bunch of A's. Now my orders that are in my house that I need to fulfill has a bunch of I's, but I don't have one yet. I'm going to exchange my A for an I, which is super useful. And that really kind of solidifies my thoughts on every action you take is satisfying no matter like how bad you might think it is at the time. So with that said, let me show the cog action. Let me find a good one to show off. So that one I just explained. I'll get that after. This one has specialty inks on it. All right. And there are some cogs that are specific to two-player game only. Again, with the scaling, does a really good job at that. There'll be some that you'll exclude for two-player games. Let me find a good one that I can show off. This one. All right, so I'm gonna try and show you guys this. And again, back to what I was saying at the beginning, when you're explaining this game up front, it seems like a lot, just because there is a lot of icons. I kind of related to Praga a little bit, if you guys have ever played that. There's just a lot of like visuals. You're like, what does that mean? I have no idea what these little bracket parentheses mean. Halfway through the game, like that is just second nature to you. That's a type. That's one of these, one of these little letter guys. So let me move all my bits here so I can show you what's going on. Ew. So when these come into your little house, you can see here, there are these little crescent half moons on either side. When you load them in, you want to make sure that a action is facing towards that crescent, and that dictates which bonus action you can take on your turn. And these, you'll denote that by playing a cube on it, and that gets reset every round. So depending on where these are, let me shove another one in there. Depending on where these are in the flow of things, you'll have 3 available extra actions to you. I missed that comment. I'll get back to it, I promise. At the beginning of every turn, you spin one direction, and you'll have 3 more available to you. What's nice is that if you are ever caught in a situation where these actions aren't ideal for you, you can choose, instead of taking another cog, to rearrange it. So again, I never found myself in a situation where I went like this, well, I can't do anything. Because there are some games where you're just like, I guess I'm going to take this round off from doing anything because I can't do anything. This game gives you backup plans for everything, which is, it does really good things to my brain. So that's kind of the whole shtick with this. And you can do one on each cog every round. Beginning of each round, give it a good twist, goes on to the next one, and then those are available to you. You can replace them too. So if you level up all your specialties early on, get it out of there, put a new one in, and get a spinning. So Cogs, man, I probably highlight that because it is really good. Let me see what you guys are saying. Let's see what we got here. Still learning how to use this. Oh, there it is. Oh, you want to reach? Do you want to take my gear? I mean, here, you can take it if you'd like. All right, so that is one thing, and that'll probably be like the second video, really get people excited for Gutenberg. The game is very, I guess, brown. So that's one thing, although the point track is really kind of clever with it. So it has just like points all around like a normal game board. Then it has the different types that also have numbers like 64 through 70 on the types. It's very visually appealing for how brown it is. So I feel like the game would carry itself like in a video if I were to like show it off visually. Like people would be like, ooh, I'm intrigued by this, even though it looks like parchment paper. Like that's pretty fun. So the last thing I really want to like get pretty hype about is the like specialty tracks. Again, like, do you want to reach for it, Don? You can grab it. So there's four different specialties here, and you acquire these or you move them up. There's cubes. I go in each one. You start at. Can I balance it? No. So you start at the very bottom. So your specialty is zero. Is it zero? Yeah, zero for each one. And how you acquire them is these specialty cards. So something like this, a pelt pelt. And if you were to take this card as an action, you would move up this pelt track 2. What this does, this is allows you to fulfill certain orders at like a higher level. So there's the order cards, which you just fill. You need an A and an I, and you can just fill it as is, and you'll get $2. What are they actually called? I can't remember what they're called because I couldn't pronounce it. But what also comes with that is this like upgrade card where you can improve the worth of your order. And this is where a lot of the points come in. So at the very top, you just have AI, it'll get you $2. But then you can improve this order. Yeah, thanks, Ruby. I need you for all of this. Comes out in June. If you have a green ink and you have this pelt, and this is a perfect example, then you can get points for this order. So whenever you fill it, you will always get dollars. And then these are the points here, the game winning points that you need. If you have an ink, you'll just get the bonus points here. Now, if you're a pelt specialty, and I apologize if I can't remember the actual name of that specialty, but it looks like a little pelt, you'll get this bonus. If you do both, you'll get the additional bonus to that. So the one thing I learned from playing this game is you don't need to fill these right away. It's not a bad idea to hold on to your order. So this is a whole order here. You want to keep these together until you have everything. If you know you're going to have everything, it is worth holding on to an order for maybe an extra round or two to get these bonus points, because we had a friend who literally just sat on his orders and dusted us with points at the end. Just because I would have an A and an I, get some money, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna use the green, and then we'll turn it in, and that's it. Once it's gone, it's gone. But he would sit there and wait, be like, okay, if I just waited around and level up my pelt to 3, because my 2, I can get 4 more points, which it makes a big difference when you're filling like 10 of these a game, maybe even more. I think we were up there on filling these. So going back to this talent tree of specialties, the higher you get up, the bigger orders you can fill. The patronages, let me find it, require you to have like certain levels of those specialties as well. And you can like take this, and this just gets you 8 points if your specialties are at this level, which feels good. And then the higher you get, the more points you get. So if you get them all the way to the top, each specialty is worth 6 across the board. And then as you keep leveling, you also get some added bonuses here, which allow you to take up orders, which gives you more types, which gets you more money. It is this right here. It hits all the spots for me. All right. So I guess that was the last piece I wanted to focus on that. I guess winning the game. This is played over 6 rounds, and it is all laid out in front of you. So again, there's no mystery as to what's going on. There's no, oh, I'm ending the game. We have one last round. No, we know we have 6 rounds across the board. That's tracked, and more things are available to you, to especially patrons, as you go. And then at the end of the game, you score your orders as you go. You get the bonus points from where you stand on this track, this is like a metagame in itself. Coins are actually worth a decent amount. Sometimes with most games, it's like 10 coins for a point. This is 3 coins for a point. And then each one of these patron cards are worth 8. So scoring is very straightforward. You score a majority of it with the orders up front, so you don't have to worry about that at the end of the game. Everything's laid out for you in front of you here, and then just your coins. So like I said at the beginning, this game is very tight. It is very efficient. Everything you do up front is for a purpose, and it feels good. And then the hidden turn order thing, the hidden auction bidding for actions, is just fun because you reveal here, and you're like, oh, guess I'm going second. I thought I was going to go first with bidding 4 of these, but apparently you want it more. You never know what people are going to do. So that's Gutenberg. As Ruby said, June. Coming up, pre-orders are open now, and this week I am going to do, the breakdown of three, what I've been, my thought process of how I'm going to explain it to everyone. Three videos highlighting it, highlighting the different actions, going through just, Gutenberg from beginning to end, and with a lot of spinning. There's probably going to be a lot of spinning involved with these wheels because it is very satisfying. So go check it out. Go check out the portal site. Look at some pretty pictures. Read what it's all about. I hope I explained it enough for you guys. And then posters. If you guys are genuinely interested in those posters, we have the 4 of them. Put it in the comments, and I'll send them out. And if there's hot contention for 2, I'll randomize a name. So that's it this week for me. Next week, I think I might actually next week. I won't be on. It'll be the following week. But I think I'm going to do a similar thing with 51st Date, where I'm going to go through like the process of like my thoughts on the game, how I'm going to break it down into videos. Um, and it honestly helps me because I do this all in my head, and if I'm talking to someone, I think it makes it a little bit easier. I have good notes of what I'm going to say about a game. So I think the next time I stream, I'll probably do it with 51st Date. I plan on talking with Joanna on the new expansion for Empires of the North. So that's coming up over the next couple weeks. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Sunday. Drink lots of coffee, make lots of delicious food, and hope you have a great day. Thanks, everyone.